More than 4 years ago, I bought this MG BGT off eBay with the intent of doing a restoration project in homage to my dad. In this video, I'm taking a drive up to the farm where the car is stored and sharing my thoughts on this 4-year-long process. And of course, when we get to the farm, I'll be giving you a full walk round of the car and then sharing my plans for the future now that this 4-year project is over.
No, you're not going mad. I am inside the Range Rover and this is supposed to be a video about an MG BGT. But I can't get out in one of the nice cars to do some filming that I really want to do, that we've got planned, because the weather is so gloomy. And I don't really like taking the cars out in terrible weather because all you've got to do is clean them again afterwards. So I thought I'd take a day off work and head up to the car unit, the storage unit at the farm, where we've got stored the MG BGT project that we started 4 years ago, that I am delighted to be able to show you today.
I just want to say a big thank you to everyone for watching. We've now got over 1,500 subscribers on the channel and we keep growing every day. Over the years, we've filmed racing, car meets, drives, restorations on other cars. We just haven't been able to bring you the content we wanted to on the MG. So today, we're wanting to clarify all of that.
So to cut back, I bought the MG in 2020 after the world went a bit strange. COVID, lockdowns. Now time slowing down hit more than I expected. And that meant projects and things could be possible. Now this MG was not meant to be a YouTube project. Now, it was meant to be me recording and documenting, basically refurbing this car in homage to my late father, and the intent was that I was going to use YouTube as the modern equivalent to the photo albums that your grandma gets out every Christmas and talks through and shows you all about times gone past and memories. And I wanted this YouTube documentation of the channel to be effectively about, well, here's step by step, video by video, what I did to restore this MG BGT in homage to your granddad, kids. Now, ironically, it was very weird. I was forward thinking because 4 years ago when this project started, I didn't have any kids. But I knew I wanted some, I knew I wanted them. And me and Rachel were planning that long term. We weren't there at the time, but, now we have one beautiful daughter and a second on the way. So I thought, the start of 26, it's a nice way to jump into this long, deliberated, long-going and ongoing journey, which has finally come to a sort of resolution. With my dad, we always talked about restoring a car. We've nearly bought a VW Bug and camper van, and did that up from one of Dad's mates down the pub. We went to go see it one summer, and we were going to spend the summer doing it all up, that sort of thing. We just never got around to doing it, and it was always a sense of next year we'll jump onto it, sort of thing, or we haven't had the time, this year's been busy, we'll do it next year. And then, for my dad, very sadly, next year never came. And for me, it was something that just disappeared for a while. It was something I completely forgot about. But then, when I had an opportunity, the businesses were sort of running on autopilot, and to be honest, I was getting more in the way than doing any good at that point. So I was like, I could put my time to this. I could finally go do this. So you've probably seen videos in the channel before where I bought the car, got it delivered, started doing the work, And I started doing a lot of research, and I started looking into loads and loads of stuff about the car and what it is that I could do. I was getting really excited. I was talking to suppliers. I was going on Rimmer Bros and looking at the all the new parts that I could do replacements with. I was even considering what I can do in terms of the restorations and modifications to be a resto mod. Could we replace and get a decent sat nav put in subtly somewhere so it doesn't make it look like new school, but it subtly fits in, all that kind of stuff. I was really excited to do. But I suppose, why an MG BGT? Well, it wasn't random. There is a story behind it. So the MG BGT was the car that my dad drove around to my mum's house when he was courting her, as that phrase always goes these days. And he just had a promotion at work to become one of the youngest managers in the UK of a company that size. He was proud of himself, and he'd driven past this dealership time and time again for many, many months and weeks. And then he was like, yeah, I want to get that promotion, I'm going to do that. And he went down, got the car, and first thing he did was drove it straight round to my mum. And he showed it to her, and they got some lovely photos, and obviously the rest is history. He had that car for a while, they enjoyed it together, and that was a lovely story. I just thought that's nice. Now, the car that was actually my dad's, that was the first thing I did. The research I did, it's gone. It was destroyed in the mid-80s. It's gone. It's not coming back. So the car that I have is not that car, but it is as close to that car as I could get. And I chose that because it needed doing up. It needed some work doing to it. I didn't want to choose a pristine example. I chose one because I was like, no, that needs to be done up. I'll bring it back to life, and that'll also be, because I love cars, another way that I can bring one more car back on the road. I thought that was a great story. Double sentiment there. It's absolutely perfect. And the other thing was, at the time, as I said, the business was doing very well. This was sort of like a semi-retirement project for me. So I was like, well, I'm not needed at the office. I'll go spend my time doing this, and that's great. I wanted to document the process, which is where the YouTube channel started. Now, as you know, the channel's done lots of different things since then. So, the documenting of the MG BGT has very much not been the priority, even though there's been some really interesting things around it. So, with the click of a hand, let's get to the unit.
If you're enjoying this video and keeping cars alive and on the road is your thing, why not consider joining the Because I Love Cars Members Club, where currently you'll get access to carefully procured organised drives, early invitation to organised automotive industry and motorsport events, access to our members only online merch helping spread the word about our BILC movement, as well as special access to our members only WhatsApp community for like-minded car enthusiasts, where members come together to share and indulge in their mutual passion for all things cars. If it's off-roading, JDM, classics, hot hatches or even supercars, there is a community for you here when you join BILC. At this time it's completely free to join, so there's no reason not to, and the more members we attract and the bigger our membership becomes, the more we'll be able to offer in the future. I founded the Because I Love Cars Members Club in an effort to find like-minded enthusiasts within a united kingdom that is set on making the passionate motorist a thing of the past. If you feel the same way, make sure you join. We've got your back.
Camera down. Ready. Here's for the big reveal. Ta-da. Unfortunately, as you can see, hardly any progress has been made. And you're probably looking at it instantly and going, well, duh, typical, not, overambitious project, never got the time to do it. Well, actually, that isn't entirely the truth, and I'll explain. So here's the thing. I went all in, I did all the research, I got all the books, I got everything I needed to get this done. And one thing I rapidly realised was this thing is covered in rust. I mean, not just, that needs a bit of a tidy up, but like to the point where it renders it completely pointless. Let me explain. So, an MGB-GT in absolute sort of tip-top condition is probably going to be worth somewhere between sort of 15 and 20 grand. You might get a museum piece that could be worth, let's say, 25 at a push, but you're never going to get anything more than that in terms of its value. When I started looking at the bodywork on this car, and what I mean when I started looking at it, when I started really lifting things up and finding stuff, what I realised was this was beyond repair. The main reason was I brought a couple of people round who are bodywork specialists. I did my research, I got online, I found some people, and those bodywork specialists said to me, this is an open checkbook. Yes, of course, anything can be fixed, but is it worth it? And, you know, when you've got those people who are going to get paid an open checkbook, potentially, but then they even say to you, you're mad, it's not worth it, it makes you question if it's the right thing to do at all. So, from my side, I started looking at alternate options. And then I realised that there's an option where you could potentially... Sorry people, had to swap camera. The other one just decided to die on me battery-wise. So, then I realised, you know, even the people who are being paid to restore a car like this, like the bodywork people, they didn't even want to take my money because they were like, this is just beyond repair. So then I started looking to an alternative. I found on Rumour Bros online, on the NGB forums and all that kind of stuff, and some comments from you guys, to be fair. I found that you can actually buy an entire shell. So you can buy an entire new body for a car. And I was like, perfect, that's it, that's the fix. Because from a DVLA and MOT point of view, it's just swapping a part, but the part is the entire body. So it's the same car, which would be great, because then when it gets MOT'd, it's the same car and it doesn't have to pass all the things because it'll be 25 years old and older, that sort of thing. And then I was like, well, this actually gets even better. The way it gets even better is, because I'm not a complete pro, certainly by any standard, at being a... Because I'm not a pro at being a mechanic, I was like, well, here we go then. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to understand how to build and fix this car and to sort it out. And one of the things I was looking at was, well, if I got a donor car, I could look at the donor car as I was passing things over. So I'd never find myself in a situation where, effectively, I don't know how something fixes in. I just look at the donor car and see how that's been done. And then it hit me. The shell itself could be the donor car. So what I do, or the existing car could be the donor car, this car could be the donor car, and the shell itself could just be the shell. So I was like, right, this is all going well here. This is great. This is the plan. This is what we're going to do. Until I got the price for a shell. And I was a bit gobsmacked. But then I think about it, I'm like, why should I be? Because to be honest with you, it is a bit of a very rare thing to want to do. It's a very bespoke item, so they're not going to do many. They're going to have to make the money somehow. But there are companies that have got the templates and they've got the shells sat around, or they can manufacture the shells because they've got all the mouldings. But the price for a new shell was £16,000. And when you think about a brand new MGB, like, or sort of not brand new, when you think about a restored and museum quality one being 20-25 grand, and just for the shell, and then you've got to do all that work, you still got to repair the engine, gearbox, axles, wheels, brakes, all of that, still got to do all the mechanicals, that's just the shell. It's going to cost way over 25 grand. So I was like, well, if that's the case, why don't I, why am I even doing this? Why don't I buy another car instead? Because I paid about 2,500 quid for this car about 4 years ago. And I was like, well, why don't I buy another car? Why don't I spend a bit more money? Why don't I spend 10 grand? And then instead of doing up this car, I just do up that car because that car is effectively already a bit more mechanically sound. The bodywork will probably be better. It'd be like more like a classic restoration show car. So I was like, well, in that case, this car definitely completely is redundant. What is the point in keeping it? What is the point in having it? And that is my dilemma. And that is the point that I'm at. So we finally moved house, and you can probably see in the background, this unit is now empty. We also used to have the unit next door, and that unit itself has been emptied now, so there's nothing left in there. So it's just this unit, this one unit left. And from my point of view, I'm like, what is the point in me keeping this unit just to store this thing? Because I did try to sell it at one point and I couldn't even get 900 quid for it. So I may as well just get this thing either sold. Sorry, I was just waving to the landlord. I can either get this thing sold, or I can actually basically just say forget it and do something else. Anyway, the point is, I want to do this. I want to do a restoration homage to my dad, but this isn't the car to do it. That's the decision made. This is not the car to do it. So what do I do with this car? What do I do? Help me in the comments below. Let me know what I should do with this car. Let me know what I have got one idea. And if I don't hear a better idea in the comments, that will be the idea that I'll go with. So you'll have to stick around for the next video to find out for that. But from my point of view, this is the thing. What do I do with this car? It just isn't worth repairing. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed just having a quick walk around with the MG and figuring out the plan, and obviously finding out what's been happening over the last few years. And yeah, find out what happens to the car in the next video.